Hey everybody, June 23rd, 2025. Now I'm here with your after hours recap. Really nice to see some action out there from Tesla. I guess, actually, before we jump to Tesla, I guess we'll just talk a little bit about HIMS. Novartis came out and said they're not partnered with HIMS anymore. HIMS gets absolutely destroyed on super big volume. Not pretty to see, but there was already really big distribution taking place in here, and stock got absolutely destroyed today on that news. SMCI, another one that got hit on an offering. I think it was like almost $3 billion. Not pretty to see. And then again, on the flip side of that, we talked about this during pre-market prep. 335.50 was the spot. Now in after hours, there's a little bit of the I forget what it was. It looked like traffic safety, national highway, something or the other came out and basically wants to talk to Tesla with what's been going on with some of the videos circulating online of their cars driving in the wrong lane, and I'm almost 100% certain that somebody will die because of robotaxi. In fact, a few people will die because of self-driving, but it's not a matter of if accidents happen or if people are going to die. It's a matter of how much less prone are they to accidents versus human error. So that's just kind of the reality of the beast. If you're going to play this stock, on continuation, you're going to see news like that along the way. Stock market has been super volatile. You see action like something in CrowdStrike, nasty move down, shakes everybody out. It's like picking up the little kid, the bully, picking up the kid, flipping him upside down, and shaking coins out of his pocket, only to then turn right back around and rip. I saw something very similar in TEM today. Again, this one closed a little bit weaker. And I am out of this name, so kind of happy to be out. And it was kind of what we were seeing today. At one point, stocks were really just rolling over for whatever reason. It's like a lot of news headlines, but you look at something like an Nvidia that intraday is rolling over. There's nothing wrong with it at all on the daily. The only really name from the mega caps that look a little disgusting is this Google, breaking the 200 on Friday on a pickup in volume. And then, continuation lower. And then obviously crude oil today got absolutely colonoscopied. What looked like a gap up and then a 9% move down today. And it was just this way across the board. Doesn't matter which of the smaller mid-cap names you were kind of playing, right? Husa with a gap up, sold off all day. Indo, similar deal. Again, these are kind of turds, but you get the picture. Just sell off right from the word go. And it was like that with the small caps. I thought, something like Hood, Palantir, I thought those held in there really well. I mean, these things look great. Spotify, again, another one that held in there superb, new all-time high. I don't see anything wrong with that. The Oklos of the world continue to sell off today, and that's why you need to sell some into strength. When you get extended from the 50 simple moving average, if you don't sell some into strength in just a matter of 4 or 5 days, right, you're down 25% at one point. I don't really know how anybody can stomach that. Awesome continue action in that ASTS. We talked about Elon's rocket last week and how, it exploded. Obviously, that sucks. But, it seemed that might be potentially bullish for an ASTS or a Rocket Lab, and really nice continuation for those names, even into after hours, a new little high here. And, I probably expect that this is taking out that 33, 34 level tomorrow, maybe 35 bucks or something like that before you blink. Could very well be there. Nice action, continued action in the food stocks. I think Shack still looks pretty dang good, but again, similar deal right at the open, this nasty little sell-off right at the open, and then just picked up right from there. I was in eat, but I let it go last week, and kind of thankfully so. Kind of a nasty little shakeout this morning. I also would have gotten stopped out of this anyway. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast right now, guys. You guys got tons of volatility around pivots. Tesla was, a breath of fresh air today where, just kind of breaks the pivot and continues. And you still have some stocks that really need to digest gains. Meanwhile, home builders look like they can potentially be bottoming. Something like LEN, something like PHM. BLDR, again, these are underneath their 200 simple moving average, but would like to see home builders potentially start to participate. That would be pretty good. Banks continue to act really, really well. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, these things look fantastic. And while big banks and even semiconductors look pretty good, it's hard to be negative on the market, right? These are two of the biggest groups out there. So as long as those two groups are acting well, I'm not going to go ahead and be negative on the market. Could it be volatile around pivots? 100%. But should you get super negative here? Guys, show me a move down that has stayed down for like more than 4 hours. I mean, like I'm over here racking my brain and was just going to say an hour, but that's even what it's been. It's like you get these 1 hour moves down and then you wick right back up and then you're higher a few moments later. If you look at positioning, it's not very crowded in the ES or the NQ. If you look at the NAAIM survey, that is getting a little bit bought. You would say like that it's a 94 and potentially increasing here. So is the sentiment survey getting a little bit up there? Maybe things are getting a tiny bit stretched, but the reality is just when you think things are getting a little stretched, a stock like Toast comes to life, and this is exactly what we really want to see. We want to see more merchandise showing up, and again, some food stocks look pretty good, but then on the flip side of that, shoe companies look terrible and clothing stocks look terrible, right? Something like Lulu caught my attention today, just nasty. These yoga pants are clearly too expensive and not going very well over there. But again, something like Wingstop even looks pretty dang good. After a really big move, nice little pullback on somewhat light volume, gets super tight, and then continuation from there looks really good. Oil coming down could be good for the inflation narrative. And really just overall nice action. Still nice action from the gold stocks. I didn't think anything was wrong with the gold names today. KGC still looks very constructive here. Needs to get going over 16 bucks. AEM still looks pretty dang good. NEM is your liquid leader and continues higher. Silver, I thought, did okay today. Kind of gotten sold off over the past 2 days a little bit. But the reality for silver, and I would definitely play gold over silver, is silver has a little bit more crowded positioning in it, so not really one that I would play. I think too many people piled into silver as the potential catch-up trade, and so therefore not one that I would personally like. Really nice action, I thought, from Bitcoin today. Came right into the 50 simple moving average, undercut June 5th's low, undercut that level, and then rallied really, really nicely from there. Again, something like IBIT, I think, held in really, really nicely in comparison. Again, basically the exact same setup. You get your undercut, you get your rally right from that level. And kind of when that happens and it triggers is basically right through VWAP with the, hold of the 50 simple moving average. Really nice, clean setup. Looks like we're getting a little bit of follow through in after hours. So nice to see from a new group. Really not a new group, but a group that's just consolidating. I don't think anything is wrong with Bitcoin just yet. I just would not play MSTR until MSTR can go ahead and clear 392.56. This is that gap down day on a pickup in volume and has done absolutely nothing since then. Could it be playable on a rally back through the 50 simple moving average? Yeah, maybe. But I think it might even be better back through 392.56, maybe even 393 on a pickup in volume while Bitcoin's acting better. I think would be the better play there. Otherwise, I don't really know what else seemed super notable. Again, big washouts everywhere, nice recoveries. I still think my favorite semiconductor at the moment, just for the way it's consolidated, is AVGO, right? You can see this super nice little washout in the morning, picked up right back to yesterday's highs and consolidated. If this thing starts to take out, 255 and a half, I think this one could continue higher. Again, I feel pretty positive about the market, right? You get crude oil coming down, that kind of helps with the inflation narrative. We've got tariffs back on the table coming up in another 2 weeks. So, if there can be some quote unquote good negotiations going on that front, I don't really see why the market's going to go down here. Apple's trying to find its footing. It still sucks underneath the 200. Hopefully Google can get itself going back up above. but everything else looks pretty damn good. Microsoft continued new all-time highs. Meta, really nice update today. Tesla, really nice move today. ARK finally took out those February highs, so it has reclaimed the entirety of this move down. Really nice. So obviously I'm bullish ARK. I own ARK, so would like to see it continue. Otherwise, guys, like I said, when you've got banks, you've got semis. Even one of my favorite semis, this ASML, decided to shake me out a few days ago, but really, really nice action today after a washout prior day. Wicked right back up, reclaimed the 20, continuation today. Exactly what you want to see from a name like ASML, and just kind of, undergoing some base building back up above the 200 simple moving average. Really, really nice action. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Take it one day at a time. Continue to use progressive exposure and, just try to get yourself repositioned in the market. My current longs are ARK, PanW, and Tesla. I know, kind of shitty. Wish I had way more long exposure, but that's just the reality. I've done a not so great job of trailing Netflix, not so great job of trailing a Palantir or a CLS, or God only knows. I was in CrowdStrike too. I've been in so many awesome names. Now it's been really nice trading. Good money has been made, but again, I haven't absolutely traded my best, and that's just the reality of trading sometimes. You just kind of live and you learn and you move on, and it's a long career. So take it one day at a time. Continue to use progressive exposure, and we'll see what sticks from here going forward. Hopefully, we get some more digestion in names, and then as we get new clean setups, hopefully we begin to see some follow through in those as well. So hopefully you guys traded well today, and I will see you guys bright and early for pre-market prep. Cheers.